Hey y'all, it's Alexis. Today we're going to be chatting about self-care for busy mamas. As many of you know, I am a brand new mama. I have a almost 4-month-old, and I'm going to be really honest with you. For the first about month, I tried to do everything on my own. I would not be willing to ask for help. I was just very prideful in that way. I was a mom. I can do this. I don't need help. And quickly I found myself getting burnt out. And I think that that's totally normal, especially with the newborn phase, because baby is needing you so much. But I really found that when I was able to step back and maybe allow my husband to help in the way that he wanted to, it just changed everything in how I felt about him and just the people that I loved around me. So the very first thing I want to talk about is why self-care is important. So I think that self-care is something that we do to really validate that we are still human, that we still have priorities and needs, and when we don't do that, we're kind of just shoving our life under the carpet. And what happens, at least for me, is I start getting really agitated, and that is one sign that you need self-care. You need just a little bit of time for yourself. Now, what happens if you don't have time for self-care? I understand, because I don't have time for self-care. I was trying the first, I would say, month after my daughter was born. I would do this thing where my husband would come home, and for like an hour on a Saturday, I would do self-care. And it just did not feel like enough. Like that day it felt good, and maybe for the next couple days it felt good, but then a week in, I'm ready. I need something. So I changed the way I looked at self-care. Instead of it being this big event, I wanted it to be moments. And for me, moments are anything from 3 seconds to 5 minutes. And they can just be little things, right? So today I'm going to chat with you through different self-care things that I do. I wrote everything down here in my notes, so I'll keep checking back to this to make sure I include everything. But everything is broken down into the time frame that it would take to do these. And so I think it's important to have these moments to kind of keep you going throughout the week, but also having an event once a week that you get to do that just changes the way you feel and just, like I said earlier, rejuvenates you. So if you don't know where to start, I would encourage you to go and write down all the things that have ever made you feel good in the past. So before you had this sweet little baby, what were some things that would make you feel good? Was it reading a book? Was it sitting down to watch TV? Was it going on a date? Like, what kinds of things made you feel good? And then once you have that list all together, you can actually start to put them into practice. But if you need some ideas, this is why I created this video. So the first area we're going to talk about is if you have no alone time. If you don't know, my husband is in the military. So every fourth night, he is on the ship. And this means he's at work for over 24 hours. And I'm home alone. So it's really hard to find time for self-care. So there are a few things that I've done to weave this in. So the first thing is I will either get up a little earlier than my daughter, and I will maybe have a cup of coffee, or I will journal, or I will do anything that just makes me feel good. Sometimes I even just sit and have a cup of coffee in silence, okay? Or what I'll do is before I go to bed, I'll just spend a few extra minutes doing something that I need to do. And I like to read before bed, so it's something that I've been doing it takes maybe 5 minutes for me to read a chapter of a book that's just leisure. So this is just little ways that you can be adding that in, and it doesn't take a lot of time. The second thing is something that's brand new to me, and it's called grounding. If you don't know what this is, I'm going to go ahead and link a website below that I've just found super helpful. Grounding is basically where you connect to the earth, and a lot of people feel like it's very crunchy, so to speak, but I'm telling you, I have seen such awesome results. I will just do little things. I'll take my daughter outside, she'll sit on my lap, and I'll just put my feet on the ground. So my bare feet on the ground to connect to the earth. That's it. It's very simple, and it's not something that I have to do alone, but for some reason it just helps me to feel energized again. And if you have 5 minutes while your baby's napping, go outside by yourself and do it. So this is just something that's really simple and easy, but you can also do with your kiddos. Number 3 is probably kind of silly, but just get some fancy lotion and soap, okay? So something I did, actually it was for my stretch marks. I had really bad stretch marks and I was told that if you get a scrub with like one of those like scrubby brushes, it can really help them to go away, which I think it is, but I'll do a video in the future to like let you guys know if it actually worked. But I got this soap that smells amazing. It's like vanilla and it's amazing. And every time I go to use it, I'm just like, oh, I feel so good. So next time I think I would actually go ahead and buy this stuff like before I gave birth. So I had it after. Just something about having a really good smelling soap and then putting on lotion after. I know there are scientific studies that say just like even just rubbing your hands and your feet, doing things like yoga, really help you to connect to your body. And so this can give you that, I think it's called an endorphin, that will make you feel really happy. So this is a great way to do some self-care and just add it into your daily life. Number 4 is buy yourself some coffee, some tea, try something new that you will enjoy. So maybe you're out on the go and you drive by Starbucks and you just grab yourself a pumpkin spice latte, because I've definitely done that a couple times. Just on a day when I'm just feeling really taxed, I will, right now we're during COVID, so I will just run out and go to Starbucks just to get out and to see people and to get a coffee because it just tastes amazing. I also from time to time will purchase something from Amazon that I've been wanting to try, and it'll just be maybe, while she's playing on the floor, I'll make myself a quick cup of coffee and I'll sit on the floor with her, but it just helps me to feel like I'm having a moment to myself. And sometimes when I first drink my coffee, which this might sound weird, but I will just kind of like take a moment to like just taste it and to think about what it tastes like. And again, that takes like 3 seconds to do, but there's something about just realizing what I'm drinking, not just drinking it mindlessly, changes everything for me. And it can change the course of many moments later for me to really just be focusing on myself and how I'm feeling while I'm drinking my coffee. Number 5 is something that I kind of just touched on, but it's treat yourself. Treat yourself to something special. Maybe it is a coffee. Maybe it's a new book. Maybe it's some makeup, just some, it's a concealer that just makes you feel good about yourself. Treat yourself to something. And this is not to say that you should be doing retail therapy, which I know a lot of mamas can get into, but once in a while, if you can just treat yourself to something small, it doesn't have to be anything big. It can be a $2, cheap coffee. Anything, it is just going to help you to feel better about yourself and just about everything that's going on. And the last thing you can do if you have no alone time is order yourself an adorable shirt on Amazon or your favorite boutique. Like for me, when I have a bad day, there is this one shirt that always makes me feel cute and it makes me feel comfortable and I enjoy it. So I will put that shirt on and it really changes things. It makes me just feel more confident and less like I'm frustrated with today. So just something you can try, getting maybe a few shirts that really make you feel good about yourself and make you want to continue going on with your day. Okay, here's some activities for 5 minutes or less. I'm gonna read them off to you because they're not rocket science. Okay, 1, listen to some music. I love listening to music, sometimes not listening to nature sounds or lullabies is like, oh, this is great. So sometimes I just need that moment. So go ahead, listen to some music. You can do that while you're doing dishes or really doing anything. Number 2 is go for a walk. Again, something you can do with your little one, but just walking, getting your body moving can really help you to feel better. The next thing is going to be journal. So you can just take 5 minutes in the morning and journal. I often will do this while my daughter is doing tummy time. It's just helpful for me. She's content, she's happy, and while she's doing tummy time, I don't really time it, but I just kind of journal about how I'm feeling, what's going on, and a lot of times this will just get those frustrating emotions off my chest, and I'm able to move on a little bit quicker. The next thing you can do is read your Bible, do a devotional, and for those of you who don't know, I have a Busy Moms devotional that I released actually a couple weeks ago, but I'm going to be re-releasing it soon. So if you want to make sure that you don't miss this devotional, you can head over to my blog and sign up for my email list, and you will get a notification next time that it goes live. But this devotional is only 5 minutes. And so for me, just spending that time studying God's word is huge. And I know that it's something that a lot of people talk about, but I'm telling you, if you just spend those few minutes with him, it'll be life-changing. And you can do this during tummy time. You can do this during nap time. And my daughter, like I said, does not nap very long, but when she does nap, like decently, I'll just do it at the beginning of the nap, so that way I make sure that it's done and I'm not saving it for the end when I could possibly, not have time to actually do it. The next thing I like to do is, I call it a micro workout. So when my daughter first takes her nap, I will pop on the shower so I can get in, and while I'm waiting for the water to heat up, I'll do a micro workout. And a micro workout for me is just like some stretches, or maybe like some light, like weight resistant exercises, some yoga or Pilates. You can really just do this whenever, but for me, that's just how I find time to move my body. I know I said this earlier when I was talking about going for a walk, but for me, just moving my body helps me to feel better. So this is something you could try, and like I said, incorporate it into your shower time, or maybe you do it when your daughter is on tummy time, whatever it is. Just kind of incorporating those into your day. And like I said, it only takes 5 minutes. The last thing is something I really want to try to do and get better at, but meditating. Meditating is not for everybody. I know everybody can benefit from it, but it's difficult at first. It's not easy. And so for me, I really learned to meditate during pregnancy. So I want to try that again. Someone actually mentioned on my Instagram that she continued doing her hypnobirthing after she was pregnant, so I might actually go back and do that just because that's what I'm familiar with, but I would like to start meditating. If that's something that you have done, like maybe you tried hypnobirthing and you really liked it, maybe you could go back to trying that. The next thing that you can do that takes 15 minutes a day, maybe you don't do this every single day, maybe it's a few days a week, but the first thing is get ready. Girl, like even if you don't like makeup and hair, just make yourself feel pretty. There is something about truly feeling good about yourself that just changes the course of your day. I used to be a bridal hair and makeup artist, for those of you who don't know, and every day I had to get super made up because I felt like I had to put on a face for these brides. And looking back, I really didn't need to do that, but I wanted them to believe that I was, capable of working on their weddings when I was 17, 18 years old. So going back, I definitely would never put on that much makeup every day, but there's something about, for me, I have to do my eyebrows every single day. That's probably something in my 5-minute thing that I could have added, but I would say 3 to 4 days a week, I'll actually get ready. I will do my makeup, I'll do my hair, and it just makes me feel better. So try that. Even people who don't love to do hair and makeup, it's just that they tend to feel like they can't do it, and when they have it done, they feel amazing. So just try little things. Try a tutorial on how to braid your hair. Try just doing your eyebrows. Just add a little mascara. Simple little things, but it's just amazing how you'll feel after. The next thing you can do is call a friend. So calling a friend takes maybe 15 minutes. My best friend and I, she lives back home in New York. We probably talk, I would say, 1 to 2 times a week. And it's only 15 minutes. And sometimes I actually do it while I'm holding my daughter. But there's something about connecting with somebody, especially right now during COVID, where I feel like I kind of gain a little bit of that rejuvenatedness that I was talking about earlier. No, that's not how you say that, rejuvenatedness. Whatever, you guys know what I mean. It's just that feeling of, I feel so much better. And talking to a human, I mean, not that our children aren't human, but talking to somebody who gets what you're going through is just helpful. And so I would recommend doing that, even if it's your mom or your aunt or just somebody to connect with on, I'd say, a weekly basis. The last thing you can do is take a drive. A drive takes 15 minutes. From the time I leave my house, go get a coffee and come back is 15 minutes. Sometimes I will do this when like my husband gets home and I'm like, I need to run to the post office to drop off some things for the business. And for me, it's just so great to just drive, pop on some music, maybe even listen to a podcast, and I'm having just that time for myself. So you can incorporate things in here like running errands while you do this, but just taking a drive is amazing. So the last category is 20 minutes plus. So this is something that I only do once a week. So one thing that I'm not good at is taking naps, and my husband has encouraged me to do this. So I would say once every few weeks when my daughter's had a really rough night, I will take a nap during her nap. I have trouble feeling like that time is wasted, but I've come to learn like I will feel so much better that night or the next day, because for me, when I don't get sleep one night, it like compounds and it's like multiple nights. So when I take that nap, it helps it not to compound. So if you enjoy taking naps, maybe that's something you do once a week just to give yourself that little extra boost. The next thing is get back into your favorite hobby. Maybe on the weekend you love to, for me, I love to garden. Maybe I would start a garden again, or maybe I love to knit and to crochet and to sew. Love to bake, like maybe I would do something like that. Baking a pie would be awesome. Anything along those lines to help me to get back into something that I enjoyed. And again, this is conversations that you're gonna have to have with your spouse. Say, hey, I need some time on the weekends. I need an hour. I need 20 minutes, however long you guys can, do that for. And I can't imagine that they're going to push back on that, because they're gonna see how hard you're working. They're gonna want you to spend that time for yourself too. The next one actually has to do with your spouse. Go on a date together. Either you have your little one go to a family member's house or get a babysitter. For us, we don't really have that option because of COVID, but we have been on Sundays. We will go in the morning up to this little town. We'll pack a lunch, and we do bring the baby with us, and it's just fun. It's fun to go on a date and to connect and talk with each other, but in that moment, not everything is about the baby. It's about him and I, and really us connecting. My last tip is something I did yesterday for the very first time, and I've been wanting to do it, but I've been a little scared to do it again because of COVID. But I went to Target by myself. Girl, go to the store, walk around. Now, don't buy everything. That's retail therapy. That's not what this is about. But just going to a store without a baby crying, needing your attention, all the things. Just going and getting what you need to get is awesome. So head to your favorite store. For me, it happens to be Target. You'll find me in the Magnolia section. Hearth and Hand, I think is what it's called. But I absolutely love doing this. It's something I think I want to do more, maybe once every couple of weeks, just to give myself that little boost that I need. So that's it. That's all I have for self-care. I hope that these tips helped. I know that some things were kind of all over the place, but I hope that you can really find time for yourself, because it's just huge as a mama. It's huge to have that time to validate yourself and to just say, yeah, I'm important. I need some time. So anyhow, if you have any tips or you have something that you love to do for self-care, go ahead and comment below. If you want to see more videos like this in the future, go ahead and subscribe. And yeah, hopefully you guys have a good week, and I'll see you next week.